You're watching KAPP 35 News Nightcast with Dana Cowley. Meteorologist Mark Lee with weather. And Bob Romero, sports.
Good evening. Welcome to Nightcast. I'm Dana Cowley, and this is what's happening tonight. The war of words is heating up in the Gulf crisis. Part of that tough talk message was delivered in Saudi Arabia today. The Defense Secretary Dick Cheney and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Colin Powell, are visiting the troops. ABC's Chris Bury reports their message was drawing cheers.
The Defense Secretary and his top general sounded belligerent. Saddam Hussein shows no sign of leaving Kuwait, they told the troops, and prospects for peace appear to be worsening.
It increasingly looks like he doesn't have the message and that we may in fact be required to use force to get him out.
They spoke of plans for an air, land, and sea attack.
When we launch it, we will launch it violently. We will launch it in a way that will make it decisive so that we can get it over as quickly as possible, and there's no question who won when it's over, so that we can then start the process of rebuilding Kuwait and sending our forces back home.
And if U.S. forces attack, one soldier asked, how far will they go?
The question is, are we just going to fight in Kuwait, or are we going to level Baghdad? No comment.
What if Saddam Hussein withdraws from most, but not all of Kuwait?
The only acceptable outcome is for him to get completely and totally out of Kuwait.
The tough talk generally played well, but some troops were still worried.
I think all in all, the rest of us would like to go home and say we deterred aggression instead of actually having to go into conflict.
And a soldier from the 101st Airborne wanted to know, is the U.S. really ready to fight?
Well, I think we're ready. Both parts of the force are ready at different times. Are you guys ready?
That may be the answer Powell and Cheney wanted Saddam Hussein to hear today, to drown out a top general's warning earlier this week that American forces would not be ready by the January 15th UN deadline. Chris Bury, ABC News, Saudi Arabia.
Saddam Hussein is now making it crystal clear that he will not withdraw his troops from Kuwait by the UN deadline. Saddam's insistence that he won't pull out by the January 5th deadline came during a German television interview. The Iraqi leader said President Bush sends his soldiers to death without reason. He says they could be spared, according to Saddam, if Bush would talk to them. In the interview taped yesterday, Saddam also said President Bush is a bad leader and would retreat after the first 5,000 U.S. casualties. The White House's response to the comments are that Saddam still isn't getting the message on the U.S.'s strong military commitments. Some tough talk took place in Yakima tonight. Rap talk, that is. Young rappers put their grooves to the test. In the end, it was an anti-drug tune that won Best Beat.
Time is coming soon. Drug-free people need to spend the afternoon at home cooking a Christmas dinner with a big, thick, juicy turkey after dinner. Now, if you know what drug-free means, you can take it from me, because I'm slinging free.
The rap contest is part of a giant Christmas party sponsored by the Southeast Community Center and the Yakima Coalition for the War on Drugs.
The message was for young people to stay away from drugs, stay away from alcohol, and stay away from gang activity, any activity that's not a positive one for you. And we thought if we would give them a positive activity and send that message out to them in a happy environment, if you will, that they would respond to it very well, and they did.
The anti-drug party brought more than 300 people out tonight following a feast. Partiers held a drawing for presents, all part of the Help Keep Christmas Chemical Clean theme. A Yakima family is homeless tonight, robbed by a blaze that investigators suspect started in a wall heater. The son of the Witschuk family found the garage on fire at 3:15 in the afternoon. Yakima firefighters battled the blaze for nearly 2 hours. Despite the bitter cold, they managed to keep the fire from destroying the home. The family does have insurance, but the fire caused $40,000 worth of damages. Investigators are still checking the scene, but because of the severe cold, they suspect a faulty wall heater in the garage started the blaze. Well, meteorologist Mark Lee tells me as of 7:07 tonight, winter has officially arrived. Mother Nature obviously wanted to make that perfectly clear tonight with these bone-chilling temperatures. 2/3 of the nation is feeling the bite of the Arctic blast. Many soft fruit growers will shiver all night long as they weather through the bitter cold with their trees. Dave Carlson told me tonight his wind machines are running on idle, ready to rev up to full speed as the temperatures go down. He expects to begin protecting by burning smudge pots before the night is over. Last night's bitter temperatures already took a bite out of the crop.
We've lost, well, maybe even 10 to 20% of the buds out there, but there's a lot of buds on the trees, and you know, I won't know that for sure until I actually cut them.
Some growers say they can lose up to 80% of the buds and they still would have a reasonable harvest, but nobody wants to cut it that close. That's for sure, Mark. No one wants to see them losing 80 to 90% of their buds.
Getting down there already, critical temperatures were at 5 below here at the Yakima Key Station for growers out there. It looks like tonight's going to be another night to, well, protect the crops or watch out. Now the weather forecast for you, let you know how cold it will get. But first, if you're traveling, here's your past reports.
If you're an average person, you'll spend a third of your life in bed and about half your waking life at work. Now, considering all the time you have left, how much of it do you want to spend paying your bills? If you had Pay by Phone from Washington Mutual, you could pay your bills in no time by phone. And every month, a simple statement sums it all up. Ask about Pay by Phone, another lifesaver from Washington Mutual, a friend of the family.
A fax machine?
Inventory problems at the North Pole.
You ought to try Shopko. They still have lots of great last-minute gifts on sale.
Lucky them.
No, seriously. Look at all these Timex watches. They start at less than $8.
They got plenty, huh?
You bet. And Shopko's got a big selection of radio control vehicles. They're 33% off.
But how do you know which one to get?
Shopko's no-hassle refund policy. That's never a problem. Shopko takes care of everything.
That's just what I'm telling my elves to do.
Mark Lee's weather forecasts are certified and approved by the National Weather Association and the American Meteorological Society.
Here's a look at the satellite over the northwest. Another cold night on tap. A lot of things we can see on the satellite. The brighter white clouds along the coast indicating some light snow they're getting over there along the coastal sections. Oh, Vancouver, Victoria's picked up some snow. Quileute as well, some snow. A lot of fog off the coast. That's the lighter gray tone you're seeing on the satellite. What we're watching is this little band of clouds right here, another band off to the north of that. They will be dropping south later on tonight and tomorrow, and probably give us partly to mostly cloudy skies, perhaps a snow flurry or two, but that's going to be about it with this as they drop on south. Other than that, it looks like another clear night tonight and cold temperatures. Close up, here's a look. Mostly clear skies. You can see the clouds in northwestern Washington. Get a little bit of snow right in these brighter white clouds here. Victoria, Vancouver, both have been reporting snow last hour, and also around Quileute as well. Another disturbance off here in the north could give them about an inch of additional snow come tomorrow. Temperatures up and down the valley. This is how they shape up at 10 o'clock, and these are for the frost growers, frost district out there. You can see readings generally well below zero at Cowichy. Yakima is an 11 o'clock temperature. We are now at 5 below zero. Most places as of 10 o'clock we're running 0 to slightly below zero. Our high temperatures for today, our current temperatures, I should say, around the state, 5 below in Yakima, 3 below in Pasco, already 6 below in Walla Walla, 10 below in Pullman already. And west side temperatures in the teens with that little bit of snow that's falling over there. Factor in the wind, and here's how it feels to the human body. 33 below in Pasco and Walla Walla, 35 below to the exposed flesh is how it feels at Pullman. In town, our wind chill temperature has just gone down to about 10 below zero. That was as of 10 o'clock, so we are now 10 below on our wind chill temperature outside. Up and down the valley, high temperatures today, 9 in Ellensburg, up to 13 and 12 in Prosser with partly sunny skies. Overnight low temperatures last night, cold indeed, 11 below in Cowichy, 9 below in Yakima, and also Moxie and Wapato, 8 below in Toppenish, warming to 4 below, if you want to call that warm, sunny side in Prosser. Let's take a look at the current conditions out over Mount Adams tonight. A beautiful sunset out over Mount Adams as the sun's rays went right over the top of it today. 5 below zero, that's the current temperature. Wind chill 10 below zero. Humidity high and the winds are east, now at 5 miles per hour. High temperature for today in the valley, 13, 9 below last night's low. Once again now it's looking like we'll be a little closer to 9 below or 10 below again for tonight. 38 is where we should be, and once again, temperatures just, well, don't even look at these. It's too warm. It's much colder than that. Here's a look at the high temperatures for Saturday. Now, wouldn't it be kind of strange, people having Christmas vacation planned, and they coming from Fort Myers, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where it was 88 degrees today, and they're flying over to Meadow Lake, Idaho, right over here, where the high temperature, or low temperature was 52 below zero. How's that for a change in temperatures? But that's what it was, 88 down in Florida. Sub-zero, 10 to 20 below in the white shading, 0 to 10 below in the light blue shading, and then around here in the northwest, our high temperatures, we're kind of just in the teens to around 20 here in the northwest. Eastern Washington, a little colder in the other blue shading with highs in the single digits. Tomorrow morning then, that weak disturbance dropping south, so we'll have a few clouds around, perhaps a chance for a snow flurry, mainly in western Washington, however. And for the afternoon, as that continues to push south, again, a chance for a snow flurry in western Washington around here. Partly to mostly cloudy skies. Another Arctic air mass right here, but this will be heading east of the Rocky Mountains like they should go and away from us, and they'll get the cold air over there. For us, our forecast shapes up like this. Skies will become partly cloudy, high clouds, 9 below. We're going to drop it to tonight once again with a light wind. For tomorrow then, mostly cloudy skies. There will be a few sun breaks around, so we can actually call it partly cloudy. Could be a snow flurry. 0 at 7 o'clock, 10 degrees by 11 o'clock, and with partly to mostly cloudy skies for the afternoon. A little warmer for the Yakima Valley at 17. Ellensburg struggling, but you might hit 10, 15 to 18 in the lower valley. Here's your extended forecast. Temperatures moderating over the next few days. Partly cloudy on Sunday, and it looks like we'll get a little bit of sunshine in on Sunday if we don't get the low clouds and fog, but I expect that to hold off until Monday and Tuesday. Highs right about 20 and lows in the teens. Doesn't look like any real major snowstorm in the makings, but we will have cold temperatures through Christmas Day.
Very cold.
Yeah, looks like it.
Thank you, Mark. Let's take a look now at the bottom line on some of today's other top stories. The shooting of a 16-year-old runaway is being called justifiable. Today, Yakima County Prosecutor Jeff Sullivan and Sheriff Doug Blair made that announcement. A recent autopsy revealed that 16-year-old Robert Good died from a gunshot wound to the heart. Sergeant Max James of the Yakima County Sheriff's Department and Ross Stocksaheist of the Yakima Tribal Police were involved in the shooting, which took place on Monday. They fired after Good and another teenage runaway led officers on a high-speed chase.
Yes, I'm totally comfortable that this is justified. You know, and I say justified in the sense that they should not be charged with a crime. You know, was it perfect? In hindsight, no. No, it wasn't perfect. You know, we would all of us, and Max James probably more than any, wishes this young man were alive.
Both officers have been on administrative leave pending today's announcement. Meanwhile, in Yakima County Juvenile Court, a court date was set to determine when and if Good's companion, Ted Orrero, will be tried as an adult. Orrero has a prior criminal history, including his escape from the Pierce County Detention Center along with Good. For these reasons, and because of the serious charges against him, he'll be held without bail. Orrero's next court hearing is set for January 4th. The second-degree murder trial of Laurel Merker will not be moved to another county. After pouring through potential jurors' questionnaires in court today, attorneys for both sides, along with Judge James Gavin, decided an unbiased jury can be found here. Laurel Merker is accused of shooting her husband Glenn Merker last March. She was acquitted of first-degree murder charges back in October. Now prosecutors are retrying her on second-degree murder charges. In court today, Judge James Gavin said Merker's first trial did receive a lot of publicity, but that wasn't enough reason to move the trial. The jury selection process begins on January 7th. Well, you've certainly heard it before, and now you'll hear it again. Holiday seasons are always loaded with alcohol-related car accidents. And if you're serving alcohol at a party, you're responsible for your guests driving when they leave your party. So to avoid having your guests pulled over for drinking and driving, and to avoid alcohol-related accidents, take precautions. The Yakima Valley Council on Alcoholism says you should try to buy enough alcohol for your party.
And pay attention to your guests, you know, be responsible. You know, do you notice someone drinking too much? You know, then you might want to step in and be tactful about it if the person isn't receptive. And, you know, or you might want to, at a certain point in your party, stop serving alcoholic beverages.
If someone is out of control, make sure they get a ride with someone else or have them take a taxi, because under Washington state law, you're responsible for them if they leave your party intoxicated. No one's toasting the Sun Kings' performance tonight, eh, Brian?
Well, they didn't play all that bad, but it's one of those where you play all right, but when it just comes down to it, they didn't win the ball game. Coming up in sports, high school basketball action as Ike and Davis go at it. And tonight at the Sundome, the Sun Kings with the first of their two-game series against Rapid City. We'll be right back with highlights, but first we'll let you check out scores from around the NBA.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. The 1991 Subarus are ready to go. Get to Les Moore and Subaru's end of the year sale. Save like never before on this 91 Loyal 4x4. Was $13.56, now only $11,595. Or a 91 GL Coupe was $16,190, now only $12,495. Or this 91 Legacy 4x4 was $17,164, now only $14,695. So let it snow. Les Moore and Subaru is ready with the best deals in town for your winter driving. Les Moore and Subaru, 5th and Fruitvale.
If you've ever known anyone mean and nasty enough to be called a Scrooge, then enter the world of A Christmas Carol and meet the original.
You have a cold heart, Ebenezer Scrooge.
I have no use for making people happy. That's humbug.
Humbug indeed, until the spirits of Christmas scare the dickens out of him in A Christmas Carol.
Yakima Sun Kings in the first of their two-game series with Rapid City tonight. Blow a 7-point third-quarter lead and blow a chance to gain some ground in the Midwest Division. The Sun Kings and Thrillers at the Sundome. A good crowd on hand, about 2,900 in fact at the Sundome to watch. The Thrillers jump out to a first-quarter lead. Glenn Putty with the little reverse and jumper. 39-33 Thrillers after one. Jim Toole from Citral with a great pass to Lee Campbell, who had 21 points in the ballgame just back from being injured. 41-35. Rapid City. Corey Gaines to Lee Campbell for the dump. Lee Campbell is back, 61-52 at the half. The Sun Kings behind. Finis Denbo, that is, the difference in this ball game. Jumper after jumper. He would end up with 36 points. And did I mention that Lee Campbell is back? Boom. Once again, 21 points, 89-87 Yakima after three. Denbo again. Jumper after jumper. Once again, 36 points, 101-101 at that point. And that would be the difference. Stroman adds 23 points, but it's not nearly enough. Rapid City wins it by 8.
Well, the first half was super disappointing. We didn't play with much heart. Came out and played the third quarter the way we're capable of playing, and then but could not sustain it. I think we really missed Mike Higgins, but we can't keep making excuses.
Higgins, who is out with a sore foot, is doubtful for tomorrow night's game. With the loss, the Sun Kings fall from 10 points behind the Thrillers to 16 as Rapid City got 6 of the 7 quarter points tonight. The Thrillers and Sun Kings once again tomorrow night. A big matchup in the Big Nine tonight in boys basketball as Yakima's two schools met and they went head-to-head. Ike playing host to the Pirates of Davis. Pick up action where Jeff Silva, who had 17 points with the steal in the hoop, 46-46 with 2.5 minutes left. Now we'll go to overtime. The difference in overtime, Sean Gertis, who had 19 points, he was 8 for 8 from the free throw line in overtime alone, 48-46. It's 52-51 Ike when Ryan Pinion with a big hoop that puts Davis up by a point. And with only 10 seconds left, Ike will get the ball in and they foul the wrong guy. Gertis, who once again would go 8 for 8 from the free throw stripe as in overtime. Eisenhower wins at the final 58-55. Davis now 2-3. Eisenhower drops to 2-3 also. In a non-league matchup tonight at Highland, the Scotties played host to the West Valley Rams. And the difference in this game, Matt Ashworth of West Valley had 28 points. And the high score for Highland, Dayton Vickers, who had 32 points. Highland would end up losing this game at home in the final. West Valley 107. And Highland 87. Let's take a look at all the non-league scores that were reported tonight. There's a score we just talked about. East Valley and Chi B wasn't. Toppenish wins at home. The final there was 49-33. And in overtime, Connell 71-66 for Sunnyside. Big fines for players involved in a big fight. Today, the NBA slapped Purvis Ellison of the Bullets and Rick Smits of the Pacers with $7,500 fines and handed out one-game suspensions to each player for their part in Wednesday night at the fights. The league also docked Washington guard Donnell Walker $7,500 for not going immediately to the dressing room and for verbally abusing an official. Feeling the need for a right-hand closer, the San Diego Padres have signed free agent Larry Anderson for 1991 and 92. The deal, which contains an option for 1993, will more than double Anderson's salary to $2.2 million a season. Anderson played for Houston last year before Boston picked him up as tenant insurance in August. Tragedy has struck the Chicago Bears. Early this morning, rookie defensive tackle Fred Washington was killed in an auto accident. It happened near the team's training camp. Also killed in the crash, 22-year-old Petra Stoll, who was a passenger in the car. Washington's car bounced off a curb, crossed the road, and struck a tree. The accident happened only 2 miles from Washington's home. That's what you call a tragedy, all right.
Any word on what caused it?
They don't really know at this point. It happened early this morning, so we'll find out.
Thank you very much. The push to boycott Nike products is firing up again. We'll show you why one group is burning rubber to call for a ban. And a little later on, the country's shopping slump. Thousands are staying home with their chestnuts, whether their stockings are stuffed or not.
Magnavox and big screen. That's what it's all about at Schultz Furniture. Wait a minute, Gracie. Why, there's lots more to the Schultz Furniture Electronics Center than Magnavox big screens. There are VCRs, smart window TVs, stereos, a huge selection of 1991 Magnavox TVs and consoles, camcorders. Why, the Electronics Center even has a comfortable place to sit down. I love Magnavox technology.
This week on Siskel and Ebert, Tom Hanks, Melanie Griffith, and Bruce Willis star in Brian De Palma's version of the blockbuster book, Bonfire of the Vanities.
Nothing is going to come of that little newspaper article.
Also, Sean Connery and Michelle Pfeiffer walk a tightrope between love and espionage.
I love you. All my failings were preparations for meeting you.
The Russia House this week on Siskel and Ebert.
The group Operation Push has intensified its call for a nationwide boycott against Nike, the nation's largest maker of athletic shoes. Today, the group protested by burning a pile of Nike shoes. Operation Push claims Nike doesn't hire enough blacks and doesn't do enough business with black-owned companies.
I charge Nike and others with marketing techniques directed toward inner city, toward poor kids, toward black kids, toward kids of color, who are buying their shoes, who are buying their jackets, who are buying their caps. But Nike and these other industries don't put any money back into these inner cities.
Nike, on the other hand, is proud of its minority recruiting program. Company officials claim their minority workforce has jumped to 16% in the last year and a half. Now, in a good year, retailers can make half of the year's profits in the weeks right before Christmas. But the bitter cold in Seattle is taking a bitter bite out of the shopping season. With just 4 days left to go before the big day, stores are empty and cash registers aren't ringing. Retailers say losing these last few days is going to be tough, and the shoppers have mixed feelings about braving the ice and the cold. Retailers also say they expect business to pick up as people grow more accustomed to driving on the ice. They hope. Well, the bad weather is the last thing retailers need on the last shopping weekend before Christmas, obviously. Estimates are that holiday sales have taken their first drop in 8 years, especially in the Northeast. ABC's John McKenzie reports.
In Rockaway, New Jersey, at the local shopping mall, they're doing whatever they can this Christmas to shake new life into the songs and the sales. Here, with 200 stores side by side, the problem is all too apparent. People are not buying as much, they're not even looking as much. The number of people walking through the mall is down almost 20% from last year. The parking lot, crammed to capacity last year, now has space to spare. Those who do come in find prices slashed, but even that is not enough. Alice Johansson sells women's wear.
We're down in sales, about 20%, I'd say, for the last month.
Whether in major department stores or tiny jewelry stores, consumers are showing caution.
They're looking for inexpensive stocking stuffers. They're not looking for the $100 pair of earrings anymore.
The few outlets here having a Merry Christmas are clothing chains, where most of the merchandise sells for $30 to $40.
The stores that are doing well are those that have moderate prices, wonderful displays that attract shoppers into the store, and that really are able to convey to the shopper the notion that this store really carries terrific values.
Every year around Christmas, shoppers make a vow to spend less on gifts. What's different this year is that they really are.
Well, I have as much in my pocket now, but I'm afraid to let it go because you don't know what's coming next year, the way things are. You know?
Thinking about the war, thinking about the economy, kind of makes you just step back and look and say, you know, do I really need to have this now because of what's coming up?
And that is something the Rockaway Mall and so many other malls have been unable to overcome. Concerned about tomorrow, people are cutting back today. This Christmas, many Americans are a little less confident, a little less comfortable.
Merry Christmas!
John McKenzie, ABC News, Rockaway, New Jersey.
If you think it's cold here in Yakima, just wait. We're going to take you to the outskirts of Alaska next, where the jolly old elf himself is spreading Christmas cheer.
Why make that long drive to Seattle when the lowest prices and best service are right here at home at Yakima Computerland? Through the month of December, Computerland has the IBM PS2 for only $22.99. This unit features 386SX power, VGA graphics, and more. Or come in and see the IBM PS1 featuring IBM DOS, Microsoft Works, Prodigy service, and more. Models start at only $999. IBM quality and reliability at an incredible price. Don't make that long drive to Seattle. Relax and save money at Computerland. Computerland, 901 Summit View.
This week on Scene, you'll travel to Civil War-torn Northern Ireland and ride with the Belfast medics through dangerous territory. You'll fly to a multiple injury accident in the mountains far from help until the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office arrives on scene. And the pressure's on for a medic in New York.
Travel the world when National Geographic takes you on assignment. This flight deck is home to the Navy's top guns, but only one man calls the shots. Meet the Air Boss. Then, deep in the Guatemalan jungle, archaeologists are digging for treasure in an ancient Maya tomb. And this jungle conceals a high-tech space center that's rocketing toward success. It's an hour of adventure when National Geographic takes you on assignment.
Sunday evening at 6.
Hi, I'm Randy Beeler. Coming up on this week's edition of Impact Northwest, it's just about that time of year again when legislators converge in Olympia to take care of the state's business. Last year, there wasn't enough time during the regular session. It took an extended session and a special session before the state's lawmakers were done. Will that same thing happen again this year? How will the laws passed in Olympia affect you here at home? We'll answer those questions this Sunday on Impact Northwest, right here on channels 35 and 42 after David Brinkley.
Finally tonight, Arctic Village, Alaska is just about as close as civilization gets to the North Pole. And while it might be right at his back door, Santa Claus still needs a little help in getting through. ABC's Carol Lee reports. ABC's Carol Lee reports.
Landing on the short airstrip outside Arctic Village is difficult for most aircraft, including Santa's sleigh. So each year, the 17th Tactical Airlift Squadron gives Santa and his bag a lift in a C-130 Hercules. The village of 125 or so Athabascan Indians wait eagerly for Santa's arrival.
Y'all been good girls and boys?
The people then whisk Santa and his helpers away, along with the gifts, including a washing machine for the whole village. They're on their way to a celebration at the village school. The children show Santa their appreciation with songs. The Air Force makes its own contribution to the entertainment.
Back and forth across the top. It's there, but it's not participating.
Later comes the grand finale the 54 children have been waiting for.
Couldn't wait. I couldn't even sleep good.
Every child gets a gift specially selected for him or her.
Like kids, they don't usually get not very much presents.
So, nearly 300 volunteers helped Santa raise over $2,000 for these presents. In return, the children gave Santa's special helpers homemade boots and memories to take home.
The Christmas spirit here, you wouldn't expect so many people to be into it way out in the, the Arctic.
The day ends with a potlatch feast, to which each family contributes. It's part of a tradition of sharing that started here long before they ever heard of Christmas. Reporting for ABC News, this is Carol Lee, Arctic Village, Alaska.
Boy, it looks like they had some nice warm clothing standing outside there. That could come in handier up now, wouldn't you say, Mark?
Sure. 27 degrees up in Point Barrow, Alaska, by the way, yesterday. Record high temperature.
Warmer than we have here.
Warmer than we are here, yes. The coldest air is here. Let's take a look at the breakfast forecast. For tomorrow, if you're getting up, mostly cloudy skies, sunrise 7:43. We can actually knock that down a couple degrees, about 2 below zero at 7 a.m.
Thank you, Mark. And thank you for joining us. Dress warm. Have a good weekend.
Good night.